And a pleasant good evening to you. Welcome inside GCS Credit Union Ballpark here in Sauget, Illinois. Just a few moments outside of downtown St. Louis as the Gateway Grizzlies and Evansville Otters kick off their third series of the year, a 4-game set here over the holiday weekend. It's a perfect night for baseball. Matthew Will joining you once again here on the Otters Digital Network. Otters bounced back in a very surprising way after a tough road trip last week. In those 6 games last week, they went 1-5 on the road, being swept by Lake Erie and only taking one of the 3 against the Florence Yalls. Then they come home this last midweek series and sweep the Joliet Slammers, a really good Joliet team. Uplifting to see that the Otters were able to bounce back and, more importantly, support their strong starting pitching, which has continued to be exceptional, as we've kind of seen all year long. Should be an exciting matchup tonight between these two squads. On one side, you're going to see Stephen Ridings, who is a pitcher still trying to figure things out, recovering from an injury a couple of years ago. A lot on the line for him to keep proving that he's one of the right men for the job when it comes to the starting positions on this Gateway team. As for the Otters, Parker Brahms returns to the mound. Well, there hasn't been many better than Parker Brahms in the last couple of weeks. A combined 25 strikeouts in just over 14 innings of work. There weren't many people getting hits, let alone runs, against Parker Brahms in these last couple of weeks. He'll look to continue it tonight. His catcher behind the plate tonight will be Justin Felix, who he's worked with a couple different times. They have combined for an 0-1 record together as battery partners. Just 8 runs allowed on 13 hits. Good for a 3.55 ERA between these two. But Justin Felix has really started to ramp up his pitch calling behind the plate and has been a good match with whoever he gets put up against or put next to up there on the bump. Have to keep in mind that for those 2 unreal performances for Parker Brahms, he didn't get decisions in either, and the Otters went on to lose both games because there was just not enough run support from the Otters bats. About that time is when the bats really did cool down for these Otters, and for the first time all season, we saw the Otters have more doubles than home runs on this season. Kind of came out of nowhere, as this is a power-hitting team. They finally get to come back here to GCS Credit Union Ballpark, a very home run-friendly ballpark. The Otters hit 5 in a game here just a couple of weeks ago. They look to continue that as we go through this entire 4-game set. 6:45 first pitch all 4 days of this weekend. We'll have them all 4 for you right here on the Otters Digital Network. At this time, we want to take a look through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Just to let you know what to keep an eye on when it comes to games around the league tonight. There is a double play taking place between Ottawa and New York. Double play of games. First one is just about over. They're in the 9th inning, tied at 8 runs apiece. Might need a little extra time, it looks like. In the bottom of the second, Empire State currently trailing Tri-City 6-0. In the next 30 or 40 minutes, as soon as the Ottawa-New York game ends, they'll have game 2 starting what is planned to be at about 7 o'clock. We'll see how close they get to that time. Quebec Trois-Rivières playing in a battle of Canadian teams on Canada Day. The Capitals lead 3-0 over Trois-Rivières in the second inning. Also in the second inning, the New Jersey Jackals hold a 2-0 lead at Sussex County. If things rolled the right way for the Jackals, that'd be a nice win for them against a really good Sussex County team. Washington and Lake Erie have just been announced that their game has been postponed. They will play a doubleheader on Sunday to make up for it. No wait, Lake Erie, Washington tonight. Just about to get started at the same time we are. Florence at Schaumburg, Windy City at Joliet. Those are the only other 2 Western Division games going on tonight, and both have a lot of implications with just about everything in this division. It's so tightly packed. We saw Schaumburg enter this 3-game set this last weekend, or this last week, I guess, as the bottom team in the West Division. They got themselves a nice sweep on the road at Lake Erie and now have themselves well up the order. So just got to keep in mind that because it's so early and because there's so little room between some of these teams, a loss here or there really does not hurt you too much in the grand scheme of things. A lot of people starting to pile in here at GCS Credit Union Ballpark as we get closer and closer to game time. 4 beautiful nights on tap for baseball here from Sauget, just outside St. Louis. Glad you're joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. First pitch and lineups are coming at you next, right after this on the Otters Digital Network. Anthem has been sung. Lineups have been read in-house, and we're ready for first pitch here from Sauget, Illinois at GCS Credit Union Ballpark between the Grizzlies and the Otters here for the third time this season. Again, welcome into the Otters Digital Network. I'm Matthew Will, joining you for another edition of Otters Baseball. Let's waste no time, get you right through these starting lineups for the Evansville Otters. They will lead off with the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, right fielder Elijah McNamee. He will be followed by the first baseman, Zach Bierman, and center fielder, Miles Gordon. Then in the next three, Steven Sinsley, who's playing DH, Dakota Phillips, who's playing third, and Jeffrey Baez playing left, round out the middle three. George Khalil up into the 7th spot playing short. Felix playing catcher tonight is the 8-hole hitter. Annie Armstrong is the 9-hole hitter playing second base. Parker Brahms on the mound. More about him in just a little bit. We then turn your attention to Stephen Ridings on the mound for these Gateway Grizzlies. Overall in the season, 1-0 with a 5.79 ERA. At least that's where Ridings clocks in officially. In the grand scheme of things for him, he's managed his way through some lineups well. He's only put together 28 innings of work, the least of most of the starters for this Gateway team, giving up 20 runs on 33 hits. Ridings on the mound, Pritchard behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. A quick little break here as they need to get one of the nets out of the way before we kick off this evening's game. It was sitting down in the bullpen there and left. It's getting moved out towards the corner now, and we should be just about ready to go. Elijah McNamee making his return to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game spot. Big Hit Mac, as they called him in college, and, well, the nickname stuck here. 33 games in a row, he's made it on base safely. He's had an incredible amount of consistency this year for the Otters. First pitch towards McNamee. On the way, he takes it for ball one on the high edge. 6:49 first pitch here from GCS Credit Union Ballpark. Looking like we got a 93-degree starting pitch as well, as McNamee takes an off-speed pitch high and inside for ball one. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. 1-1 the count towards Elijah McNamee. Pitch is out of the way, already headed his way. It's another ball on the inside edge. So the Otters will kick it off, of course, with McNamee being a righty. Then they've got 4 straight left-handed batters in the middle of the order. 2-1 is lifted high and foul to the right side. It'll get out of play, however. And the count evens up at 2-2. Elijah McNamee is batting in the leadoff spot for just the 3rd time this year for the Otters. Usually Miles Gordon. A little late to that swing, and he zooms it foul to the right side. Does get out of play and keeps himself alive in the 2-2 count. Defense is playing towards the edges for Elijah McNamee. The 2-2's headed his way. Again fouls a pitch to the right side. Don't forget, if you want to come join the Otters here on the road, 3 more games here in the next 3 nights in Sauget. Just a couple hours drive from Evansville. Team would love to see you here rocking your blue there in the stands. Again, the 2-2 to McNamee. Right back up the middle. Long run for Diaz. He won't make it. It's a leadoff single for Big Hit Mac. Tell you what, that's kind of picking up where Elijah McNamee left off the last time these two squads played at this ballpark. Elijah McNamee batting .391 in the 6 games that these teams have played against each other. So just like that, a man's on, and one of the league's most dangerous hitters, Zach Bierman, heads to the plate. And the right fielder, Bernard, is playing at the warning track. Pitch is chopped to the right side, foul. Gets out of play. A little different look. Usually it's Gordon, Bierman, then Baez. Tonight we see McNamee, Bierman, and then we see Gordon. Baez dropped down the order just a little bit because coaching staff wanted to group some lefties together. The 0-1 to Bierman. Pushes one to the right side, stays foul. It seemed to be those games here at Gateway about a month ago that really broke open the season for Zach Bierman. In fact, a lot of talks within our own press staff was talking about when we might see him get discussion to be called up to a high A or a low A contract. But a couple of rough games in the last 2 weeks have settled his average down a little bit. Now he's just looking for an opportunity to get back on a groove. He's looking at a 1-2 count. Elijah McNamee with a decent lead over there at first. The 1-2 on the way. Sent right back into the netting behind home plate. Count remains at 1-2. Stephen Ridings trying to pick up his first out of the game. Bierman can be just a little bit ornery when it comes to getting that out. A good defensive hitter. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The first baseman, Zach Bierman. Pitch is finally headed his way. Hefty swinging strike 3, and it's the first out of the game, the first strike out of the game for Stephen Ridings. With that, the lefty Miles Gordon will head to the plate. Miles Gordon celebrating Canada Day today. One of 2 native Canadians on this squad for the Otters, him and Jake Polancic. McNamee with a decent-sized lead over there at first. Gordon ready for the first pitch of his at-bat. There goes McNamee towards second. The throw out there looks good. It's in plenty of time, and McNamee is gunned down on his way to second. Otters lose their leadoff hitter now. So now, Miles Gordon's looking at an 0-1 count. Bases empty, and now 2 outs. The 0-1 rides way high and outside, evens the count at 1-1. Long wait between pitches now for Ridings. Kicks and delivers on the 1-1. And a breaking ball broke away from Miles Gordon. Got him to chase for strike 2. He's down in the count. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitch is on the way towards Miles Gordon. He takes eye and outside. His count evens up at 2-2. Miles Gordon has significant power. That short wall over there in right field definitely attainable for him. The 2-2. He extends the hands, and it's a swinging strike 3. A leadoff base hit will not come back to hurt Stephen Ridings. And after 1/2 inning, we are still scoreless from Sauget. Ready to go in the bottom half of the first inning. Parker Brahms and the Otters make their way out there to the diamond. Parker Brahms making his third start in the last 10 days. In his last two, they were strikeout master classes. 13 last week against Florence, 12 against Lake Erie. Very impressive to watch Parker Brahms work up there. The problem is he combined for 25 strikeouts in 14 innings. Didn't get a result in either game because the Otters offense could not do enough. So the leadoff man for the Grizzlies, Andrew Penner, the former Otter, heads to the plate. First pitch, called strike one, high outside edge for Parker Brahms. Wide open defense for the Otters as now the wind re-picks up out towards center right field as Brahms misses low and inside for ball one. Let's walk you around what the defensive alignment looks like for Evansville this evening. Baez, Gordon, McNamee left to right in the outfield, just like usual. Dakota Phillips at third, Khalil at short, Armstrong at second, Bierman at first. The ball's pushed towards right center field. McNamee going back towards the corner, and it's off the wall. He'll pick it up on the warning track. The throw into second will be plenty late, and it's a leadoff double for Andrew Penner. Well, he got a huge gust of wind as that ball left the bat, but not enough to carry it over the wall. It stays about a foot short out there in right center field, but it's a leadoff double, and immediately the Grizzlies have a man in scoring position. That will bring up the right fielder, Isaac Bernard. 343 average for him coming into the game. First pitch towards him. On the way now. Stays high for ball one. Eye level on the off speed there. Brahms taking his time for the sign from his catcher, Felix. Has what he likes. A glance towards second and the 1-0. Called strike one on the outside edge. Brahms had him looking. Big breeze blowing out. Out towards right center field, basically right towards the scoreboard from the batter's point of view. 1-1 the count. This one's put in that same place. McNamee running over towards it, brings it in for out number one. The throw in towards the infield is not enough to keep Penner at second. He'll advance on the fly ball from Bernard. Well, it was McNamee trying to rush it down. Ends up just a bit short. That'll bring up the three-hole hitter, left fielder Jay Prather. Prather has 27 RBIs on the year for this Gateway team. Could add to it with something here. In fact, there's a lot of different ways he could add to it here. First pitch is a swinging strike one to kick off the at-bat. Prather does not lead this team in RBIs, a few behind Freeman and Achenbach. 0-1 is the pitch towards Prather, who fouls one into the glove of Felix, and Brahms has himself up 2 in the count. Overall in the year, Brahms does seem to have an easier time with the righties. The 0-2 comes home, lifted out towards left field. Baez chasing in towards it. He'll bring it in for out number 2. Here comes the throw home. Won't be in time as Phillips decides to cut it off. Even if he hadn't decided to cut it off, it probably would not have been in time. And Gateway's going to take a 1-0 lead here in the first inning on a sac fly from Jay Prather. So a rare first inning run given up by Parker Brahms. And he will have to reset now. 2 outs, nobody on, as Trevor Achenbaugh, the Frontier League's top home run hitter, heads to the plate. Zoom towards Phillips at third. He plays it on one hop. The long throw across the Bierman in plenty of time, and that ends the inning, but not before Gateway is able to score the first run of the game on a sacrifice fly by Jay Prather. We've played one full. It's Gateway 1, Otters 0, here on the Otters Digital Network. Well, not the way the Otters envisioned the first inning going here on the road. They give up a solo run on a sacrifice fly from Jay Prather. They trail 1-0 as we head to the second. Sinsley, Phillips, and Baez due up for the Otters. First pitch for Sinsley's a called strike one, off speed, just fell in. Sinsley has really gotten things alive. 291 average. Been very consistent as an option for the Otters, but he falls down in this count 0-2. Walking through the defensive alignment for the Grizzlies this evening, Prather, Pinner, Bernard left to right across the outfield. Rosario playing third, Diaz at short, Achenbach second, Freeman at first. The 0-2 to Sinsley. Pushes one to the left side. Line drive foul ball out of play. And the count will remain at no balls, 2 strikes. Sinsley set up at the very back of the batter's box. As the 0-2 is on the way, Sinsley fouls it into the catcher Pritchard, who can't hang on to it, so he will stay alive for at least another pitch. Breeze is blowing hard now out towards right center field yet again. Long wait for Ridings on the mound. Finally kicks and delivers on the 0-2, and it hits Sinsley on the back. He's going to earn first the hard way. And that's not ideal for Gateway. Almost had a sure thing strikeout there and end up hitting Sinsley. Then you bring up the powerful bat of third baseman Dakota Phillips. Phillips this season batting .324, 36 base hits, 6 are doubles, 9 are homers, even has a triple worked in there as well. Phillips, the lefty, ready for his first offering. Outside ball one on the fastball. You've got to be very careful about the high outside pitch to Dakota Phillips. If you let him extend the arms, the natural power carries balls out of every ballpark he's played in. 1-0 the count. Pitch is on the way. A check swing from Phillips, but it's a called strike anyway. The GCS Credit Union ballpark here is filling up nicely on a Friday night. Glad you're spending your holiday weekend with us here on the Otters Digital Network. The 1-1 to Dakota Phillips. Stays high, maybe neck level for ball 2. Sinsley is over there on first. There's no outs in the second inning. Otters trail by 1. Sinsley with a fairly small lead over there at first. 2-1 towards Phillips. He watches it go by for a called strike 2. Count evens up at a pair. The big bat of Jeffrey Baez sits there on deck. But first, Dakota Phillips is looking at a 2-2 count. No outs, runner on first. Otters trail by 1. Ridings kicks and delivers on the 2-2. A swinging strike 3 by Phillips on a pitch low and in the dirt is out number 1 of the inning. It's the third strikeout of the day for Ridings, and it brings up the big hitting righty left fielder Jeffrey Baez. Jeffrey Baez knows a thing or two about lifting a baseball over that left field wall here at GCS Credit Union Ballpark. Settles into the box, looking at 1 out, 1 on here. And time is called. Baez did not manage a homer in the first series here at Sauget a couple of weeks ago, but he managed a home run in the game at Bosse against this Gateway team. First pitch to him. He lets stay inside for a called strike 1 right on the edge. He turns back towards home plate umpire Trevor Klosterman, just asking for clarification. Sinsley waiting at first. The pitch to Baez, and he extends the hand a little too much and misses. 0-2 the count quickly for him. The solid hitting Australian shortstop is due up next, depending on what happens with Baez. The 0-2. Good work from Baez to watch that one stay outside for ball 1. One ball, 2 strikes to the left fielder Jeffrey Baez, who's trying to keep this inning moving along. Watches a 1-2 stay outside for 2-2 count. The fastball just missed. That's a tough pitch to take, and a lot of the time Baez is going to take a chance on that one. Good to see him decide to make Ridings come a little closer with that pitch. The 2-2. Extending the hands and missing is Jeffrey Baez. It's the 4th strikeout of the game for Ridings. That will bring up the shortstop George Khalil with a runner on first and now 2 outs. And the Otters are potentially 1 batter or 1 strike away, depending on what could happen, from wasting a leadoff base hit, something they have done quite a few times in the last week and a half and really need to find a solution to, because that's a lot of missed opportunities. First pitch to Khalil stays low for ball 1. The heater just missed the zone. Khalil earned his first professional home run in this ballpark about a month ago. Takes a pitch inside to go ahead and count 2-0. Since then, though, he's added another home run to that line. He picked one up while the team was at Lake Erie last week. The 2-0 just barely catches the zone. Khalil doesn't seem to like the call, but he's still ahead in the count 2-1. Sinsley with one of the bigger leads he's had since getting to first. The 2-1 on the way home now. Big swing from Khalil on a pitch low and inside, and his count evens up at 2-2 with 2 outs. Otters trail by 1 after giving up a solo run in the first on a sac fly RBI from Jay Prather. Other than that, everything's pretty simple. The 2-2 to Khalil. Lets it go way outside, and the count's full. So Khalil will take his time, returning to the plate. Sinsley will take a tiny lead over there at first. They'll be in motion as soon as the pitch comes home. Here comes the 3-2. Khalil will foul it off of his foot and keep himself alive in the count. When it comes to surface level for George Khalil, you see a 250 average and you tend to discount a guy quite a bit, but his on-base percentage is at 381. He does good work to get himself on base, even if it's not an actual base hit. The 3-2, Khalil lays off. It stays low, and he will earn a walk on a full count pitch. There's runners at first and second now with 2 outs for the Otters. That will bring up Justin Felix, the catcher for this Otters team. Of the 6 games the Otters have played against Gateway this year, he's played in 3 of those 6. He went 2 for 10 with just 1 RBI. Solid hit here could certainly add to that. He's got a lot of wind helping him out towards center field if he got underneath something. First pitch to the catcher, Justin Felix. Zooms one out towards left center field. There goes Pinner towards the wall. Gone. And the Otters have taken the lead. Going back to the bread and butter, the home run, the category they lead the league in. And his 3rd one in a week and a half. The catcher, Justin Felix, has gone yard. I tell you what, Khalil's couple of fights on the 3-2 pitch came up clutch there and kept them alive in the situation. Felix zooms one out, 415, 104 mile an hour off the bat, and the Otters lead 3-1. And just like that, the Otters now have just as many home runs as they have doubles. Once again, first pitch for Armstrong, put down into left center field. He's going to round first, challenging for extra bases. The throw towards second won't beat him there. It's a stand-up double for the second baseman, Andy Armstrong. That is an absolutely big hit for a kid that is always due for one. Every game you know he's going to hit one. You just never know when it's going to come. That one extends this inning and brings up big hit Mac, the former Mississippi State man, Elijah McNamee. McNamee snagged himself a single in the first inning, but was sent towards second on a steal attempt, was caught stealing on the way to second. So back into the batter's box is Elijah McNamee, ready for his first pitch of this at-bat. First pitch, zooms it down the left field line, foul, however, and he'll end up in the Otters bullpen down there. Armstrong out there on second with 2 outs. Otters have a 3-1 lead after a 3-run home run from the catcher, Felix. Long wait for the 0-1. Pitch on the way. McNamee timed the swing well, but ends up being a little underneath it and sending it back towards the netting. So the count's at 0-2 now. McNamee back in the box, ready on an 0-2. On the way, McNamee swings through for strike 3. He will strike out to end the second, but not before the catcher, Justin Felix, zooms one out the left center wall, and the Otters have a 3-1 lead after an inning and a half. Well, the best way to repay your pitcher for a couple of solid outings is in the next one he pitches, when he gives up a run, give him that lead right back. A 3-run home run by Parker Brahms' battery partner, Justin Felix, has given Brahms a little bit of breathing room as he works towards the middle of this order. Clint Freeman, Cesar Trejo, and Abdiel Diaz due up for the Grizzlies in this second inning. Some clouds have rolled over Sauget now and kind of darkened things up. Have no fear, though. If rain is supposed to make it to the area, it shouldn't be here till 10 or 10:30. And if it does hit, it'll be very brief. 0-1 to Freeman. Swinging strike 2. And, you know, this feels like one of the first times we've seen Parker Brahms really in control of an at-bat. The 0-2. Swinging strike 3, and there's the first German-American Bank strikeout of the day for Parker Brahms. Be careful. Once he gets one, they start to kind of roll on. Cesar Trejo, batting in the 6th hole this evening for the Grizzlies, steps up now. 207 average for him entering the game. Trejo, 207 average, but does have a on-base percentage nearing 300. Takes ball 1 a bit low to start off the counts. Otters are playing pretty much straight up defensively all the way around as the 1-0 heads home to Trejo. He half swings. They say yes, he did go. The count evens up at 1-1 after the failed check swing. One ball and one strike to Cesar Trejo. Brahms trying to find himself into a rhythm. Called strike 2 right at the elbows. And again, Parker Brahms ahead in the counts. Defense playing straight up. Haven't shifted at all. Haven't even had to really move in this at bat. The 1-2. Dribbles to the right side. He checks his swing. They check down to first. For first base umpire Clark Morgan says no, he did not go around, so he's alive for another pitch. Count evens up at 2-2 for Cesar Trejo. Brahms readies himself. Fires home, high and inside. It just misses the zone. Worked in towards the elbows a little too far. And it's a full count for the designated hitter, Cesar Trejo. Brahms has his sign, fires home on the payoff pitch. Called strike 3, and it's back-to-back German-American Bank strikeouts for Parker Brahms. And that will bring up the shortstop, Abdiel Diaz. Diaz this year, a .262 average hitter, right in the middle of the Grizzlies team. 4 doubles, 3 home runs for him. First pitch to him is sent foul to the left side. Will go off the back netting. And the count falls to 0-1. Otters are hanging out here in Sauget all weekend long. 6:45 first pitch all 4 nights. We'll have all of them for you here on the Otters Digital Network. The 0-1 is sent into left field, down for a base hit in front of Jeffrey Baez. And it will just be a single for Diaz, but it's a 2-out base hit. Gives the Grizzlies some life here in the second. Catcher Jackson Pritchard will get an opportunity now here in the second. .247 average for him. He's got a runner on first and 2 outs in front of him. Armstrong is playing much closer to second than he usually does. The thrower to first, and Abdiel Diaz is back to the base in time. I see. First pitch to Pritchard. It's a called strike 1. Like I was saying, I see about a row, maybe a row and a half of Otters fans down there behind the Otters dugout on the left side of the ballpark down there. There's still time for you to come join us here at Sauget this weekend. The 0-1. There goes the runner. The gun out towards him, but it gets past Armstrong. Running way in's going to be Gordon to pick it up. And all the way to third goes Abdiel Diaz. Manages to get to second on the stolen base. Then snags third. So the Otters will have to ask Parker Brahms to help him out a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a runner on third and 2 outs. It's called strike 2 against Pritchard. The error is credited to Felix. As expected, it's his first one of the year. 1-2 the count. On the way home, fouled off the foot of Pritchard, and he'll live to see another pitch. So now the Otters head to a pretty much straight up approach defensively all the way around as Brahms gets ready for the 1-2 pitch. Kicks and delivers. Swinging strike 3, and all 3 outs are strikeouts for Parker Brahms. He's got 3 of them. We head to the third. Otters lead by a pair of runs here on the Otters Digital Network. And we head to the top of the third inning. Otters are going to try to add some insurance to their lead. It was a 3-run home run from Justin Felix that set the pace for the Otters and has them out to a couple-run advantage. Good to see the Otters capitalizing on a 2-out chance. Heavy hitting Zach Bierman at the plate now. First pitch towards him on the way. Hefty swing. He was out in front of it, however, and it's strike one. Defense has a bit of a shift to the right side on Zach as he waits on the 0-1. Bierman again out in front of one and clips it off to the left side as he kind of rolled over the top of the ball. 0-2 the count to Zach Bierman. Got to stay defensive now. Pitch stays, just a bit outside. Not by too much, however. Bierman will live to see another pitch. Long wait for Bierman. Here comes the 1-2. Swinging, strike three. And it's 2 strikeouts for Zach Bierman on the day. And it's the 6th one of the day for Ridings. As the 3-hole hitter, center fielder Miles Gordon heads in. He struck out as well in the first inning. Miles Gordon used to the leadoff spot. A little bit of a shift for tonight. First offering heading his way. Zoom to the right side. Nice snag from the first baseman Freeman. He'll toss it to the pitcher Ridings for out number 2. 1-3 officially on the putout. And now the designated hitter Steven Sinsley heads to the plate. He was hit by a pitch to start off the second. Waited and waited and waited there at first, but then advanced to second on a walk from Khalil. Was scored by Justin Felix on his 3-run home run. Sinsley taking his time to get into the box. Sinsley ready to go. First offering towards Sinsley. Hefty swinging, strike one. Sinsley was just about to play here at Gateway the last time the team was here, but then was added to the COVID IL list right before the series started. The 0-1 to Sinsley. Right back up the middle. What a grab from Ridings. He'll run it over to first himself. Light toss to Freeman, and that is how the top of the third ends. Otters still have a couple-run lead, but Parker Brahms has to quickly head back out to the mound right after this. To the bottom of the third we go. Otters still have a 3-1 lead here on the Otters Digital Network. Parker Brahms and the Otters return out to the field. They will face off against Rosario, Penner, and Bernard. It's the first at-bat of the day for Jose Rosario, batting .259 on the season, 23 RBIs. Takes a pitch that looked like it was curving into the zone, but stays a bit low for ball one. Defense playing pretty spread out. The 1-0. Called strike one on the curveball from Parker Brahms, able to just bring that one into the zone. One count. Pitch on the way. Hefty swinging strike two. Good work from Brahms to just plain beat him on the off speed. Everyone's getting helped out tonight. Big winds out towards center field. If you get underneath something, it'll be hard to keep it in the ballpark here. The 1-2. Right back up the middle. Down for a base hit. It'll make it all the way out to Miles Gordon, who kneels in front of one out there. He had a ball go past him in center field the last time the Otters played here. Ended up giving up a inside the park home run, if you will. A leadoff single from Jose Rosario takes us back to the top of the order, where the center fielder Andrew Penner steps up. He led off the first with a double, but was stranded at third. Little lead over there at first as the first pitch comes in a bit inside for ball one. One ball, no strikes. Pitch on the way to Penner. Outside, ball two. That's probably the furthest we've seen Parker Brahms miss the zone tonight. Little lead over at first. Ooh, really good throw over. Bierman thought they had got the runner, but Rosario was back in time. The 2-0 headed towards Penner. First, they're going to toss over to first again. It isn't in time as Rosario's back. Two balls, no strikes. Pitch on the way. It's fouled into the glove and then out of the glove of Felix. Regardless, it's strike one. Two balls, one strike to Andrew Penner. Otters need Parker Brahms to shut things down here. The 2-1. Lifted high and foul to the right side, and Bierman will just let it work its way out. It does make it all the way out towards the concourse. So it evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes for Andrew Penner. There's a runner on first in the form of Jose Rosario. Still no outs here in the bottom of the third. Brahms has himself ready on the bump. The 2-2. Lifted foul again, and again makes its way out of play and out towards the stands. And a bunch of kids go running after it. Two balls, 2 strikes to Andrew Penner. Parker Brahms trying to win the battle. Pitch on the way, runners on the way. A called strike 3. Another one gets past Armstrong. This one had enough juice to it that it got out to Gordon in plenty of time. But it's a stolen base for Rosario as the strike him out, throw him out ends halfway. It is the 4th German American Bank strikeout of the game for Parker Brahms. And it brings up the right fielder Isaac Bernard. Bernard flew out to right field his first time up. Tell you what, if he had the wind that the game has right now, it would have been a home run. First pitch on the way home. Curveball falls in for a called strike. That's one of the rare times that you can see Brahms almost bring the fingertips across the top of the ball as he throws it home. 0-1 is the count for Isaac Bernard. Brahms has his sign, fires home, and it is strike two as it was right across the heart of the plate. And Bernard is down 0-2 in the count. Rosario starts to graze off second a bit. Khalil keeping him a little bit close. And Brahms is going to step off. 0-2 count for Isaac Bernard. Brahms will send it home. Just misses on the inside edge. And the count expands out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bernard. Long wait for Parker Brahms. Has his sign. A glance out towards second. The 1-2 pitch coming home. That one works a couple inches further in towards the batter Bernard, and the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Otters really want an out that would not allow Rosario to reach third. The 2-2 is headed home. This one's lifted out towards center right field. Gordon tracking it down towards the wall, brings it in for out number 2. And Rosario will make it to third on the fly ball. That'll bring up the left fielder Jay Prather with a runner at third and 2 outs. Prather had a sacrifice fly RBI his last time up because it was this exact same scenario, except he had an extra out to work with. A sac fly will not score a run this time. First pitch home to Prather. Zoomed out towards right field, down the line, just a hair foul. In and out of the hands of a fan and back into the field of play. And that is a break for these Otters. The 0-1 on the way from Brahms, a swinging strike 2 on a pitch that just broke away from the zone. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Felix set up in the outside edge of the plate and Brahms try to throw that same thing again. The 0-2. This one's put on the ground towards first. Bierman will toss it to Brahms, who steps on first himself for out number 3. And it is a pretty simple bottom of the third. After 3 full innings, Otters still lead this one via the 3-run home run. Score is 3-1 in favor of the Otters. We've got the 4th coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network. And to the top of the fourth we go. Otters still hanging on to a 3-1 lead after the 3-run home run from Justin Felix is the difference maker in the game at this point. Dakota Phillips set to kick off the half inning for the Otters. He'll be followed by Jeffrey Baez and George Khalil. Phillips and Baez both struck out swinging their first times up. Looking for something a little different this time around. First pitch on the way. A called strike on the way outside edge. Phillips turns towards his first base coach, Bill Easley, and kind of shakes his head a little bit. Nothing he can do about it now, though. Has to come back from an 0-1 count. Long wait for Ridings. Now he fires home on the 0-1. Zoom down the first base line. Backhanded by Freeman. He'll step on first himself for out number 1. It's a hard hit ball by Phillips, but it just went straight at Freeman. There just wasn't anything more that Phillips could have done. Brings up Jeffrey Baez, who struck out back there in the second inning. Jeffrey Baez is going to have a night that probably doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, mean too much to him. But tomorrow night he'll play in the 900th game of his professional career. First pitch he sees is a swinging strike. Across those 900 games, he's got over 500 runs scored, over 820 hits, over 150 doubles, just hit his 100th homer a couple weeks ago, almost 250 stolen bases. The 0-1 pitch got away from the catcher Pritchard, evening the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Defense remains set up pretty much straight up, except the center fielder has played a bit to the left side. The 1-1, Baez leans over a bit, and it's a called strike 2. Don't forget that these two squads continue this series next 3 nights, all the games at 6:45 here on the Otters Digital Network. 1-2, swinging strike 3 from Baez. Lost grip of the bat a bit, and it's his second German American Bank strikeout. And it's the 7th of the day for Ridings. That'll bring up the shortstop, George Khalil. Reached on a walk in the second inning. You know, he worked himself out of a full count to grab a walk and then scored on the 3-run home run for Felix. Had he been on the wrong side of that final pitch of the 3-2, crazy what the score could look like otherwise. It'd likely still be a 1-0 game. Khalil starts with the ball outside for ball 1. Riding sends home the 1-0. Stays just a bit low. And it's a 2-0 count. I mentioned a couple times that it was a good crowd on hand this evening. They filled up the right field berm area nicely. The seating area is filled up quite nicely. In fact, there's also a group out there in the building past the stadium out in left field looking out over the balcony. A 3-0 to George Khalil. Called strike. He had no intentions of swinging the bat. Khalil has an on-base percentage north of 380. The 3-1. Zoomed on the first base line, and it's into the corner for extra bases for the Australian shortstop. The throw to second's actually going to be close, but because it goes a bit wide right, Khalil makes his way in there with a double with 2 outs. That is a solid hit down the line for Khalil. Sure, he got an attaboy out there. And that'll bring up Justin Felix, who is responsible for the first 3 runs on the board for the Otters. It was the 3rd home run in the last week and a half for Justin Felix. He has he's got a knack for hitting home runs on the road. First pitch to Felix. Watches it go by for a called strike one. In fact, Felix has only hit 2 home runs at home. The other 5 have been on the road. 2 outs, runner on second. Justin Felix looking to add to the Otters' lead. Felix ready to go at the plate. Finally, Writings is as well. The 0-1 stays a hair low and outside as well. Count evens up at 1-1. The entire field almost seems to be playing on the left side. The second baseman's playing almost directly above second base, expecting Felix to pull. The 1-1 towards Felix. Rides high and inside. He just curves out of the way. But he heads back ahead in the count, 2-1. Khalil has himself a solid lead there at second. He's got quick legs. Wouldn't be surprised to see the head man, Andy McCauley, sending him on something into the outfield. The 2-1. A foul tip into the glove of Pritchard. Evens the counts at 2-2 with 2 outs and runner on second. Otters are holding on to a couple-run lead that they got the last time Felix was up. Now he's looking to help add to it. Wind still blowing hard out to center field. The 2-2 to Justin Felix. Swinging strike 3 as it was tipped into the mitt of Pritchard. That ends the top of the 4th. Otters are unable to do anything with a 2-out double from George Khalil. We head to the bottom half of the 4th. Otters lead by a pair. And as we head to the bottom of the 4th, we get to see the middle of the order for Gateway. Achenbach, Freeman, and Trejo due up. Freeman and Trejo were both guilty of strikeouts their first time up. Achenbach guilty of a ground out. He'll start off this half inning. Entered the game batting .265. First pitch is on the way. Works high and inside and actually catches Achenbach. And the leadoff man will make it on the leadoff pitch via hit by pitch. So just like that, the Otters have to work around a quick base runner. And it's the 3rd time in 4 innings that the leadoff man has successfully made it on base. Pretty decent lead for Achenbach over there at first. First pitch for Freeman, a swinging strike one on a pitch up high. He falls back in the count 0-1 early. Achenbach's 4 of 6 on stolen base attempts this year. Not necessarily someone you have to keep an eye on there at first. The 0-1. Freeman lays it off, and for good work as well because it stays low for ball one. Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner on first, nobody out for the Grizzlies. Otters at double play depth. Brahms finally nods at the pitch call and throws home a 1-1. The off speed stays high and away, and falling behind the count is Brahms. 2-1 the count. This is a 4-game set, the only one of the kind for the Otters this season. The throw over to first. Oh, man, and Bierman thought for sure they had got him. They caught Trevor Achenbach slipping up over there, but he must have got a fingernail onto the base. The 2-1 towards Clint Freeman. Swinging strike 2 on a pitch in the high edge of the zone. The count evens up at 2-2. Yeah, the Otters will play 3-game sets from here on out this year. If you remember a couple weeks ago, they played a 2-game set at Schaumburg. That's what made up for the extra game being played this weekend. 2-2 works way outside, maybe the furthest one outside we've seen all day from Brahms. And it's a full count for Clint Freeman. Have to win this battle. Do not want to give up back-to-back free passes to start off this 4th inning. A throw over to first, really good as well, but Achenbach's back in time. Brahms has made a couple of plays competitive, but neither has worked yet. Full count pitch to Clint Freeman. A payoff pitch. Skied high, foul, will get out of play behind home plate. Full count for Clint Freeman. He's got a runner on first, no outs. Parker Brahms really needs to get himself an out here. Long wait for Brahms. Finally nods. 3-2 payoff pitch. Right back up the middle, grabbed to second for 1, to first. Is it in time? Yes, it is. Even after the double pump from Brahms on the mound, he's able to get it to second in time, and it is a huge 1-6-3 double play there. That will bring up the designated hitter, Cesar Trejo, who struck out the first time up, worked himself up to a full count, and then let one go at the knees, and was punched out. First opportunity to him, and he fouls back it into the netting for strike 1. The stadium lights needing to be the center of attention early in this evening, as the cloud coverage took a lot of the sun away this evening and kind of took a sunset away. An 0-1, a half swing. They say, did he go? First base umpire Clark Morgan said no, he didn't. So the count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Brahms taking his time between pitches up there on the bump. Ready on the 1-1. Kicks and delivers. Stays way high for ball 2. Probably the best news for Parker Brahms is we are just into the 4th, and he's just past the 50-pitch mark. The Otters have struggled quite a bit in pitchers working their pitch count up so quickly they can't go deep into games. 2-1 to Trejo. Swinging strike 2. The count's evened up. 2 balls, 2 strikes here. Brahms trying to end it here. The 2-2. At the knees, a called strike 3. And it is the 5th German American Bank strikeout for Parker Brahms that ends the 4th inning. After 4 complete, it's Otters 3, Grizzlies 1 here on the Otters Digital Network. Glad to have you here for Friday Night Baseball on a holiday weekend. And into the top of the 5th we go. Inning starts off with a fly out to right by Andy Armstrong. Elijah McNamee at the plate now. Chops about foul towards the netting, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. McNamee 1 for 2 on the day thus far. Earned himself a single back in the first, was caught stealing second, however. He then struck out in the 2nd inning. The 1-1 put off foul to the right side, and he's down in the count 1-2. The outfield playing rather deep for Elijah McNamee, looking at a 1-2. Hefty swing, and he's down on strikes for the 2nd time this evening. And it's 9 strikeouts for Steven Ridings. That will bring up the first baseman, Zach Bierman, who's guilty of 2 of the strikeouts himself, 0 for 2 on the day. And as soon as Bierman comes up, the second baseman, Achenbaugh, starts to drop way back into shallow right field. First pitch is a called strike 1 to Bierman on the low outside corner. Haven't seen any action in either bullpen, and rightfully so. Both starters have been very good. The 0-1 to Zach Bierman. Way outside. Easy pitch to lay off. Count evens up at 1-1. We'll take some time here in the next inning or so to walk through the Frontier League Fox Sports WIFX scoreboard. So the 1-1 is on its way. Outside yet again. In game one of their doubleheader, the New York Boulders defeated Ottawa at 9-8. A walk-off homer in that game. They're in game two right now, their doubleheader. Ottawa leads 4-1 in the second. Top of the seventh, Tri-City leads Empire State 8-3. The 2-1 works outside yet again, and Bierman's way ahead in the count. In the seventh, Trois-Rivières has a 7-4 lead at Quebec. Little battle of the Canadian teams on Canada Day. New Jersey holds an 8-2 lead at Sussex County in the sixth. That's a big game for the Jackals. They can hold on to it. Bierman's going to make his way to first with a 2-out walk. First time he's reached base in the game. And Miles Gordon will head to the plate. Miles Gordon 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout so far. And Riding sends the first pitch home, high and outside for ball and 1. So like I mentioned, New York leading Sussex County 8-2 in the Battle of New Jersey. Washington Lake Erie postponed this evening. They will play a doubleheader on Sunday. Schaumburg leads Florence 1-0 in the sixth. 1-0 catches the outside edge of the zone against Gordon, and the count evens up. Final score of games going on right now, Joliet is leading Windy City 5-2 in the top of the seventh. 1-1 pitch to Miles Gordon. Pitch is on the way. Stays a bit high for ball 2. And now Gordon finds himself ahead in the count, and a mound visit is going to be necessary for Pritchard. See, hustles out there to have a chat. Again, this ballpark has filled up quite nicely. There is a slight chance that the rain that's moving across St. Charles could dip in here and give us a couple of raindrops. It's currently maybe 20 miles away from where we are. If anything, it should be pretty quick in and out, not enough to hurt anything. 2 balls, 1 strike. To Miles Gordon here in the top of the fifth inning as the Otters lead 3-1. Finally, here comes the 2-1. Gordon puts it in the infield. Rushing in is the shortstop Diaz. He'll make the catch. That will end this top half of the fifth inning. We head to the bottom half of the fifth. Diaz, Pritchard, and Rosario due up for the Grizzlies right after this on the Otters Digital Network. We head to the bottom half of the fifth inning. Otters unable to add any insurance to their 2-run lead. We'll see Abdiel Diaz lead off the inning, Pritchard and Rosario to follow. Parker Brahms already ready. First pitch on the way for ball one, maybe neck high. Tried to pull the string on that curveball and it never really broke down in towards the zone. Brahms only has 5 strikeouts, but he has been helped quite a bit by his defense. The 1-0. Just a few baseball lengths outside, 2-0 the count. If you weren't aware, today's the 30th anniversary of the release of A League of Their Own. Of course, a film that was shot at Bosse Field there in Evansville. The 2-0s lifted out towards right center field. McNamee chasing towards it and bringing it in for out number 1. But yeah, today, 30 years since the release of A League of Their Own. And of course, with the film being shot there in Evansville, we'll be celebrating tomorrow night at Bosse Field. Free admission to come watch the movie at Bosse Field. You can't bring any food or drink in, unfortunately. They'll have concessions open, but it's free entry to come in and watch that film. Next Saturday, as the Otters are back home, they will host a League of Their Own night. Specialty jerseys, a hat giveaway, tons of fun. It's supposed to be had that night. You can get the full rundown on evansvilleotters.com/promotions. Jackson Pritchard's first swing of this at-bat is a hefty one. Just about lost the shoes on it. He falls down on the count 0-1. The count is 0-1 to Pritchard with 1 out and nobody on. And he evens the count after taking a quick pitch on the low inside corner. Otters still holding on to a 3-1 lead, courtesy of a 3-run home run from Justin Felix. Their first home run in 3 games. The 1-1. Zoomed out towards right field again. McNamee towards the wall, and that one is going to be gone. A solo home run for Jackson Pritchard has brought the Grizzlies to within 1. Only a matter of time before we saw Gateway lift one over that wall as well. But the Otters are still holding on to their 1-run lead. That'll bring up the third baseman, Jose Rosario. He singled back in the third and then stole second. And regardless of what Rosario does, now the center fielder, Andrew Penner, will have an opportunity in this inning as well. First pitch to Jose Rosario is ball 1 as the pitch just dropped into the low part of the zone. Otters are still holding on to a lead in the bottom of the 5th after the solo home run. A 1-0 is fouled back into the netting. Count evens up at 1-1 strike. Brahms just needs to kind of let the last one go and keep it moving forward. 1-1 strike to Jose Rosario. Nobody on, 1 out. Pitch drops outside for ball 2. For Parker Brahms, that's just the 5th home run he's given up this year. A 2-1 for Rosario. It's sent out towards shallow center field. Gordon is charging in, and he brings it in for out number 2. So with 2 down and 1 already across, we head back to the top of the order where center fielder Andrew Penner walks in. He's 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout so far in this one. Don't forget that the Otters are here all 4 nights this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 6:45 p.m. starts each night. You can catch each and every game here on the Otters Digital Network. Starts off the counts with Andrew Penner with strike 1. And Parker Brahms quickly firing on the 0-1. That one stays just a hair low, and the count evens up. So Brahms will reset, Count even up at a ball and a strike. Looking for this final out of the half inning. The 1-1. Zoomed out towards left center field. Long run for Gordon, but he will haul it in. He made that look easy. But a solo home run for Jackson Pritchard gives the Grizzlies a run. They're within one, but the Otters still lead 3-2 as we head to the sixth. To the top of the sixth we go. Sinsley, Phillips, and Baez due up for the Otters, trying to find some insurance as their lead has been lessened to one. First pitch to Sinsley, the called strike on the outside edge. So far in the game for Steven Sinsley, hit by a pitch in the second, came around to score on Felix's home run, and then he grounded out in the third. The 0-1's headed his way now. That one's a bit further outside and low as well, so it evens the count at a ball and a strike. Defense with a slight shift to their right side. The 1-1 count for Sinsley. Hefty swing, but he was a little ahead of it, and he falls down to the count 1-2. It's the benefit for a right-handed pitcher up there. He can kind of pitch in towards Sinsley here. The 1-2. Swinging strike three. And it's the first first strikeout of the game for Steven Sinsley. The 10th of the game for Ridings. That'll bring up the third baseman Dakota Phillips, who's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out thus far. He lasered one to the right side his last time up, but it was right at the first baseman Freeman, who backhanded it pretty simply and was able to step on first himself. The first offering on its way home to Dakota Phillips. Bounces in for ball one on the inside corner. Phillips struck out back in the second. And by the way, with that strikeout to Steven Sinsley, all but Andy Armstrong and George Khalil have struck out at least once. The 1-0, right across the heart of the plate. For a called strike, and the count evens up at 1-1. Dakota Phillips certainly due for a big hit for the Otters, whether that be a home run or a one-out double here. The 1-1 works high and outside for him. For Phillips, he's managed at least one hit in 3 of his last 4 games. We have to go all the way back to the opening game against Lake Erie to find his last home run. The 2-1 sent bouncing towards Achenbach at second. A play it on 2 hops. The throw to first is in plenty of time for out number 2. 4-3 the official put out there. Left fielder Jeffrey Baez will head to the plate. He is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in the game. We wait here a little bit before Baez steps in. It does look like there's a very good chance that this rain can now hit us. We're sitting about 30 minutes out for it. Luckily, this is an all-turf field, so you don't have to worry about a tarp. Don't have to worry about cleaning off water off the surface. The turf's kind of meant to repurpose it. The 1-0 works way inside. Baez has himself a 2-pitch lead. If Baez can make it on base, George Khalil would be due up next. The 2-0 for Jeffrey Baez. A hefty swing on a pitch that broke low and away from him. And he drops down in the count to 2-1. The 2-1 quickly coming his way, and he fouls it high and foul out of play to the right side. The 2-2 stays just a bit low, and the count is full. Big pitch coming up next. The 3-2 works inside. Baez is going to earn himself a walk. It's his first time reaching base safely in this game. So with that, the Otters will bring up George Khalil, who had a rocket shot double back in the 4th inning. He really legged it around to earn himself that double. First pitch to him, works high and inside, almost caught him in the elbow. But he's able to push it away from himself, and he's up in the count 1-0. The 1-0 count to George Khalil. There goes Baez. And the throw will not happen because it got away from the catcher Pritchard on the exchange. And that is good for the 241st stolen base of Jeffrey Baez's career. George Khalil steps back in, now looking at a 1-1 count as that was called strike. Takes away an out or a opportunity to step on second now. The 1-1. Khalil got a piece of it, fouled it back towards the catcher. It gets away from everyone, but he'll sit down 1-2 now in the count. So stepping back in is George Khalil. Taking his time before readying up. 1-2 the count. Khalil trying to add an insurance run for the Otters. The 1-2 just about catches him in the elbow again, and his count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Otters trying to keep hold of this 1-run lead and potentially grab game 1 of the series. The 2-2, and it hits Khalil on the upper back. He was immediately in some pain. Now he looks to be all right. So back-to-back free passes, one via balls, one via a hit by pitch. Justin Felix now has his second opportunity of the game with 2 outs and 2 on. And that causes a meeting up there on the bump for the Grizzlies as they're going to start to warm up an arm out there in right. Otters are still holding on to their lead right now. Got to think that Justin Felix knows how important this at-bat is, just as important as his first one earlier. But this is where you can get that insurance, where the Otters have really needed it in these last few weeks. You just can't ever be too sure with any kind of lead. Still haven't had a warm-up pitch yet out there in right field from Gateway. The catcher's ready, but no one's ready to throw to him yet. The catcher, Justin Felix, heading to the plate. Felix had a 2-run home run the last time he came up with 2 on and 2 out. He's responsible for all of the Evansville offense thus far. First pitch towards him. A hefty swinging strike 1. He was just a bit underneath that ball. He'll take his time looking down at his coaches before the next pitch. Finally steps back in with a deep breath. Baez at second, Khalil at first. And here comes the 0-1. Another hefty swing, and the Otters are down to their last strike in the inning. Justin Felix just needs to get defensive here and lay something down in the outfield. Don't need anything too fancy. The 0-2 for Justin Felix. Pitch on the way. Zoom to the left side. Off the glove of the third baseman. There goes Baez towards home. He's going to score on a tough play over there on the left side. Hard hit ball from Felix gets him another RBI in the game. And just like that, the Otters have got a run of insurance. Huge for Parker Brahms. First, I thought it was going to get cleanly between the shortstop and third baseman, but Rosario made a nice play moving to his left side, but it looked like the ball went off the heel of his glove, and Diaz was trying to run over and play backup to help him out, and because of it, he was out of positioning, and it forced Prather to have to come in from left field to make a play. And now we will have another sermon on the mount up there. Justin Felix, once again, responsible for the runs for the Otters. They lead 4-2. A pitching change will be necessary. We'll take a break. On the other side, let you know who it is. Otters have scored another run and now lead by 2. Huge moment in this game. In game 1 of this 4-game holiday weekend set. Pleased you're joining us here in Sauget on a beautiful Friday night. A pitching change needed for Gateway. Colton Easterwood will get the nod out of the bullpen. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Easterwood on the mound, Pritchard behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Let them know that Andy Armstrong sent you. Armstrong due up to bat here. 1 for 2 so far in the day for him, and he's got an RBI chance here. His first hit was a hard hit double to left center field. One of those here would score a run. Otters lead by a pair after the infield single from Justin Felix, and Armstrong will start with a called strike 1. It was a little bit of luck on Felix's part. Hit that one so hard it went off the heel of Rosario's glove, earned himself an RBI, and gave the Otters a little bit of insurance. A chopped foul ball to the right side ends up in the bullpen of Gateway. And Armstrong's quickly down 0-2 at the count. Felix stands on first. Khalil stands on third. Andy Armstrong hoping to bring in an extra run of insurance for the Otters. 0-2, headed home. Way outside, ball 1. If Armstrong can make his way on, the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Elijah McNamee. Big hit Mac would get an opportunity. The 1-2. Good work from Armstrong to keep himself defensive. Lines one at his first base coach, Billy Easley, who does not move a muscle. Count remains at 1-2 for the Oregon State grab. Felix at first, Khalil at third. Otters have scored 1 run to extend their lead to 4-2. Andy Armstrong's looking at a 1-2 count with 2 outs. The 1-2. It's a foul tip into the glove of Pritchard and then out of the glove of Pritchard. So Armstrong will get another chance. Armstrong's dug back in. A deep breath from him. The 1-2. Sent bouncing to the left side now by Armstrong and continues to keep himself alive. So now Armstrong will take his time getting back into the box, looking at a 1-2 count. The 1-2. Sent chopping towards the left side. Rosario charging in, and he misplays it. Another run will score for the Otters. Really tough play for Rosario to make over there at third. Even if he had picked it up, Armstrong was a rocket out of the box. And Armstrong earns himself an RBI on the infield single. Felix is going to go to second. Khalil will score on the play, and the lead hits 3 for Evansville. Big hit Mac. Edward Jones, leadoff hitter of the game, makes his way to the box now. Takes ball 1 at the eye level. Elijah McNamee is 1 for 3, a single in the first, a couple of strikeouts since then. Easterwood with a long wait before this one. The 1-0. Bounces in, a 2-0 count. Easterwood looks frustrated now. Otters entered the inning only up 1 after giving up another solo run in the 5th, but they've added some insurance to give themselves a buffer room. Tell you what, nice crowd has filled in this evening. 2-0 the count to Elijah McNamee. Pitch is on the way. Sent right back up the middle. Diaz plays it to his left side to second for the one they need, and that will end the inning, but not before 3 runs score for the Otters with 2 outs. They now lead 5-2 as we head to the bottom half of the 6th right here on the Otters Digital Network. 2 runs of insurance score for the Otters in the top of the 6th inning. They now lead 5-2. Pleased you're joining us on a beautiful evening from Sauget, Illinois. I'm Matthew Will, joining you for more Otters baseball. Parker Brahms returns to the mound for the 6th and starts off with a called strike 1 to Isaac Bernard. Both times he has given up a run, the Otters have answered with multiple runs of their own to back up Parker Brahms. Ball is dribbled to the left side fair. Phillips with a hard throw, and it will be in time. Bernard was slowly running towards first because he thought it was a foul ball. Phillips grabbed the ball in fair territory and launched it down to first. And it surely would have been a base hit had Bernard hustled it down there. But the Otters will take it. Out one is a 5-3 putout from Dakota Phillips. We head to the left fielder, Jay Prather. 0 for 1, a ground out and a sacrifice fly RBI. He scored the first run. First pitch coming to him. Oh, just misses on the outside edge. That's the difference between this start for Parker Brahms and some of his recent ones. He gets that one called a lot of the time in those last couple, and that's why his strikeout numbers look so much different. The strike zone is, of course, different. A ball sent on the ground towards Khalil. He plays it into the chest. The hard throw is in time for out number 2. Brahms is probably just as happy to pick up all these outs this way as opposed to, I mean, obviously it's nice to pick up strikeouts, but tonight he's just trusting his defense around him. It does look like we could be just a few minutes out from some rain here in Sauget. If it hit here, it wouldn't last too long. And with this being a turf field, it's of course nice that we don't have to worry about a tarp like we would back at home at Bossy Field. Plus, the water doesn't sit here as bad as it would at home. First pitch to Achenbach, a check swing. They check down with Clark Morgan at first. He says no, he did not. So it's ball 1. The Otters are playing straight up defensively, maybe a bit spread out towards the outsides. The 1-0 to Achenbach bounces in for ball 2. There is no action in either bullpen, and rightfully so. Brahms looks good right now, and Easterwood looked like he was ready to settle in. The 2-0 works a bit too far outside, and this might be the second, maybe third time all night Parker Brahms has looked at a 3-0 count. He's managed his zone well. Breeze has changed directions. The 3-0 hits the zone for a called strike 1. It had been blowing pretty hard and pretty consistently to straight center field. Now with the little bit of that storm starting to approach the area, the wind has shifted out towards, well, if you're standing on second, then it's blowing right towards the right field foul pole. The 3-1 to Achenbach. A broken bat. It goes out towards second. Grabbed on the run by Armstrong. There's some more loose firewood for you. Go get your new lumber at Niehaus Lumber on the broken bat there. After we've played 6 full innings, Otters lead this one 5-2 on the Otters Digital Network. Zach Bierman kicks the inning off for the Evansville Otters. Called strike one to him. He's currently 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a walk thus far in the game. The 0-1 towards Bierman. Hefty swing, but he was a bit in front of it and falls back to the count 0-2. Even if he hadn't made contact, it would have sent ball foul to the left side. The 0-2, a half swing. But he's able to check his swing in time. And the count extends to 1-2. Otters lead 5-2 after picking up a couple of insurance runs last inning. Hard hit ball right back up the middle. And Zach Bierman has picked up a base hit in the game. An important one for him. And that does enough for Bierman to extend his hitting streak to 4 games and his on-base streak to 7. That'll bring up Miles Gordon, the Otters center fielder. He's 0 for 3 in the game. Strikeout, ground out, pop out. He's looking to throw a base hit on that line. Shows bunt for the first pitch, pulls away for ball 1. The third baseman did not really move in too far. 1-0 the count. Wouldn't be surprised if Gordon sticks with that idea. Bierman with a small lead there at first, showing bunt again as Gordon. Again, he pulls away. 2-0 the count after the ball. And that time, the third baseman, Rosario, charged in a bit. No action for the Otters right now in the bullpen. The 2-0 for Gordon. A half swing. They say it's a called strike. And his count drops to 2-1. Wind blowing out towards right center, right field. The 2-1. Showing bunt is Gordon. What a bunt that's been laid down. The play at first. Not in time. Miles Gordon beats the throw to first. Little confusion there between Easterwood and Rosario as to who was going to pick up the ball. By the time Rosario did and threw that ball 100 mile an hour, it was just behind Miles Gordon. There's runners on first and second for the Otters. That'll bring up Steven Sinsley, who is 0 for 2, a strikeout, a ground out, and reaching via a hit by pitch. No outs. Runners on first and second as the sprinkles start to come down here at GCS Credit Union Ballpark. We knew it was going to hit. We didn't know exactly what time or how long it might stay here. Most of the worst is supposed to stay north, it looks like. Oh, 1 the count to Steven Sinsley. The pitch on the way. That stays a bit low for ball 1, evens the count. Bierman stands out at second. Gordon stands at first, both with no outs. Steven Sinsley at the plate. And it does look like the rain is on top of us and could last 30 to 45 minutes potentially. Sinsley launches one a mile in the air. Is it going to get out of play? It is. We'll end up in the 4th row over there. Well, Sinsley undercuts balls very often. It's why he hits so many home runs, because of the sheer power the man has. He just barely gets underneath the ball, and it just carries and carries. That one he got really far underneath and sent it straight up, basically. Count heads to 1-2 for Steven Sinsley. He's staying patient in the box, ready for his next pitch. The 1-2. Sinsley goes opposite field. Foul. It will get out of play. Will end up near the kid zone, and now the rain starts to pick up a little bit more. We start to see some individuals in the crowd start making their way towards the concourse. 1-2 is the count. This is now back-to-back road games. The Otters have had rain coming down in. Sunday at Lake Erie, they had a rain delay of about 10 minutes. The 1-2 to Sinsley. Off speed, he fouls it up high over the backstop and out of play. Rain coming down pretty consistently now. At least right now, it's not enough to have to pause the game or anything. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Steven Sinsley. There's runners on first and second, no outs. Otters just trying to look for some more insurance. Ball gets past the catcher, Pritchard. Both runs will advance 1 base, and it takes away the ground double play. Helps extend the inning. Still no one up for the Otters out there in left. I would imagine they're going to try to get Brahms through the 7th, then we might see Augie Gallardo in the 8th, and then hard to tell who we might see in the end. If the Otters are able to add some insurance, we might not see Gallardo either. That was the case with Sawyer last night. They decided not to use him because it was not a save situation, so that they could save him in case they needed him in this series. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sinsley takes it at the elbows for a called strike 3. He sits down with his 2nd strikeout of the game and snaps the bat. It's the first strikeout for Easterwood. So now Dakota Phillips makes his way to the plate. 1 out, runners on second and third. Phillips on the day is 0 for 3. A bit due for a base hit. First offering to Phillips. Zooms it to the right side, through for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Rounding third is now Gordon. He will score as well. It's a 2-run single for Dakota Phillips, and the Otters lead by 5. Rocket shot to the right side by Dakota Phillips. 2 runs wouldn't have scored it had it not been for the pass ball during the Sinsley at bat. It brings up now the big hitting left fielder Jeffrey Baez. 0 for 2, a couple strikeouts and a walk so far in this game. Just 1 out. Phillips stands over on second for the Otters, who lead by 5. Baez down the left field line. Rosario keeps it in front of him. The long throw to first, not quite in time. That would have been an unreal play had it gotten over there. Rosario just lost it under his leg right away. Had he not lost it under his leg, he might have made the play at first, but it was a hard hit ball to the hot corner. So there's runners on first and second now. After back-to-back singles, the shortstop George Khalil heads in. Khalil's reached base all 3 times, once via walk, once via hit by pitch, and once on a hard double. First pitch to Khalil. Watches it go by for a called strike 1 on the outside edge. No balls, 1 strike. Pitch on the way. Curveball, and Khalil's just barely able to foul it back into the netting. Counts at 0-2. Don't forget that these 2 squads face 3 more times. Same time, same place, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 6:45 first pitch here from GCS Credit Union Ballpark in Sauget, Illinois. The 0-2. Khalil strikes out, and it's his first time that he's been retired in the game. It's the 2nd strikeout of the game for Easterwood. The 12th combined for the Otters. That brings up the catcher, Justin Felix. His 2 base hits on the day. Both came with 2 outs. Both had RBIs attached to them. The first one, a 3-run home run in the second. The next one in the sixth, an RBI single. First pitch to Justin Felix. On the way, called strike one on the outside edge. Felix taking his time to get back into the box. Ready on the 0-1. There's runners on first and second with 2 outs. Otters lead by 5. The 0-1 works way high. Felix just kind of dodges out of the way. And just like that, looks like most of the rain is gone. We knew it would be short-lived. That was really short-lived. Top of the 7th. Otters have scored 2 in this inning. The 1-1 to Justin Felix. Pitch catches the elbows. Felix can't believe it. But Felix takes a deep breath and regroups before the 1-2. Easterwood has himself ready up on the bump. The 1-2 stays a bit high, and the count evens up at 2-2 with 2 outs and 2 on. 2-2 count to Justin Felix. He's got runners on first and second in front of him, looking to add to his big day. The 2-2 stays outside. The count goes to full. I've mentioned it a couple times tonight. There is about a row and a half of Otter fans down there behind their dugout down there. I'd love to see you be a part of it later this weekend. It's only a couple-hour drive from Evansville, although I would hop on and look for tickets online, as it does sound like availability might be a bit limited in the next couple of nights. 3-2 count to Justin Felix. Pitch on the way. Zoomed out towards left. Prather will move in a few steps, bring it in for out number 3, but not before the Otters score a pair of runs on a 2-run single from Phillips. They now lead by 5 as we head to the bottom half of the 7th. And it's past the time to stretch and Sauget. To the bottom of the 7th we go. Otters have picked up a couple extra insurance runs for their pitcher, Parker Brahms, and he'll head back up onto the mound. If he could get through this inning, it would be 3 consecutive starts of at least 7 full innings. That would be huge for the starter, Parker Brahms. Huge for the confidence, huge for the resume. Brahms is ready up there. First pitch to Clint Freeman on the way. A swinging strike one that broke low and inside. Still no one warming up for the Otters. They've got all their trust in Mr. Brahms up there. The 0-1 launch towards right field. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll get a hold of air traffic control a couple miles from here and ask when that one lands, because that one is going, and still going and gone. A solo home run has brought the Grizzlies one run closer. Clint Freeman got every inch of that baseball. A leadoff homer has brought the Grizzlies just 4 runs back now. And those couple extra runs the Otters picked up, proving themselves even more valuable. Brings up the designated hitter, Cesar Trejo, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts looking, both of them at the knees. First pitch to him, hits him on the shoulder. He heads to first for free. And wouldn't be surprised if we start to see someone throw for the Otters. Still no movement for the Otters down there, but now I see Max Peterson walk back down into the dugout, so it might start quickly. Dakota Phillips goes over and has a quick word with this pitcher. Smart move there. A catcher giving a couple of words of advice. Abdiel Diaz, the shortstop, makes his way to the plate. Diaz is 1 for 2 with a single and a flyout. His flyout back there in the 5th inning to a lot of right fielders is a base hit. McNamee made a good run at it, though. First pitch to Diaz is high ball 1. Was probably eye level there with the fastball. Trejo has himself a moderate lead over at first. They'll go check on him. He's back in time. 1-0 count towards Abdiel Diaz. Delivered from Brahms, sent back towards the netting. The count evens up. Tomorrow night, we see Austin Gossman for the Otters return off the injured list. He's just been rehabbing a upper body injury for the last couple weeks, ready to go again tomorrow night. The 1-1 headed home. It's popped, bunted high to the left side. It gets well fouling out of play. Count goes to 1-2. There is a pitcher warming up for the Grizzlies down there in right. Still no action for the Otters in left. One-two count for Abdiel Diaz. Brahms has himself ready, kicks and delivers. The 1-2 is half swung on and enough for a swinging strike 3. It's the 6th German American Bank strikeout for Parker Brahms, his first one since the 4th inning. That picks up out number 1 and brings up the catcher Jackson Pritchard, 1 for 2 with a solo home run and a strikeout so far. Pritchard with a wide open stance in the box that, of course, closes up as soon as he steps forward. Hefty swing at the first pitch for strike 1. He does have Trejo in front of him on first. Trejo's been taking a moderate lead over there. Defense is expecting him to pull a bit to the left side here in the infield. The 0-1, there goes the runner. The throw out to second looks a lot better than the ones before, but it is not in time. Trejo is in with a stolen base. Well, the bright side for Felix is that one was much closer than the last couple of throwdowns to second. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jackson Pritchard. Brahms readying himself double play, of course, taken out of the option now. At least the standard double play is. Trejo stands out there on second. Pritchard at the plate, looking at a 1-1 count, 1 out. The 1-1 misses inside with the fastball, 2-1 the count. Defense is expecting a little bit of a pull, but there, because of that, is a huge gap in the middle. The 2-1. And that one just misses on the outside edge. A couple of groans from the Otters dugout. Three balls, one strike to Jackson Pritchard, and I'd imagine if this at-bat turns into a walk, we'd see a man start warming. The 3-1 to Pritchard. Misses high inside for ball 4. There's runners on first and second. And just like that, up comes an Otter starting to warm up down there. On first glance, I believe it's Jacob Bowles down there. So there's now runners on first and second for the Grizzlies. Hit by pitch and walk, the reasoning for the 2. They already have 1 run in the half inning on a solo shot from Clint Freeman. First pitch to Jose Rosario, set up the middle. Khalil grabs it to second for 1. The throw to first in time. Beautiful work there in the connection between Khalil and Armstrong to get the first out. They throw it to first and get that one done as well. 6-4-3 ends the 7th inning. Otters still lead by 4. To the top of the 8th we go. Otters lead by 4, and a semi-familiar face will take to the mound for Gateway. Jared Milch, the left-handed. If you recognize the name, it's because on the second night of the season, there at Bosse Field, when the New Jersey Jackals were in town, he was the starter for New Jersey. They ended up winning that game over Evansville, and ever since, the Otters have struggled against lefties. He will come in and try to help close down things here in this half inning. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. It's Milch on the mound. Pritchard behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Let them know that Evan the Otters sent them your way. Final warm-up pitch has been tossed. We're ready to go. It will be the 9-1-2 due up for the Otters. Andy Armstrong slowly makes his way up to the dish. So far, the game, Armstrong's 2 for 3, an RBI single in the 6th, a double in the 2nd. First pitch to him. He sends it foul to the right side, high and out of play for strike 1. On the bright side, it does seem to be that the rain is out of the area now. The 0-1 works way inside. Didn't quite catch Armstrong. He was able to jump out of the way of it in time. It was headed right for the middle of his knee. 1-1 the count to Andy Armstrong. Taking his time getting back into the box. Has himself ready to go. And the pitch is on the way from Milch. Again, the same place towards the legs of Armstrong. Two balls, one strike to Andy Armstrong. The lefty Milch ready up on the bump. The 2-1 to Armstrong. Sent chopping foul to the left side, will end up in the dugout of the Otters. And the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Don't forget, we still have 3 more games between these two squads this weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, 6:45 p.m. on each of them. A 2-2 sit right back up the middle. Achenbaugh plays the ball over to first in time for out number 1. And that will take us back to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, right fielder Elijah McNamee, who's 1 for 4 in the game. McNamee had a single in the first, backed it up with a couple of strikeouts, and then grounded out in the 6th. Defense playing McNamee straight up all the way around. First pitch to him. He sends it foul to the right side. It will get up towards the 8th or 10th row up there. Out of play significantly. And with that, the count's quickly at 0-1 for Elijah McNamee. Big hit Mac. Just 1 hit tonight. That extended his on-base streak to 34 games. The 0-1. Sent foul again to the right side. This one just into the netting. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. 0-2 the count, and it's on the way towards McNamee. Sends it grounding to the left side. Stays well foul, however. McNamee just fouling everything off, keeping himself defensive in there. 0-2 to McNamee. Sent foul back into the netting. 3 or 4 straight foul balls now. McNamee trying to keep himself alive at the plate. 0-2 count for him. Pitch catches the elbows. He can't believe it. He will head back to the dugout for the 3rd time this evening. Says a couple of words on his way back to the dugout. That's his first strikeout looking of the day, though. That's the first of the game for Jared Milch. That will bring up the first baseman, Zach Bierman, who's 1 for 3, a single, a couple strikeouts, and a walk. First pitch headed towards him. It's a hefty swinging strike 1. Puts him behind the count early. The 0-1. Ooh, way high and inside on Bierman. He backs away from it as the count evens up. Defense is expecting him to pull the ball to the right side a bit. The 1-1. Bierman sends it high and foul to the left side this time. It's out of play, however. Top of the 8th inning, Otters still holding on to their 4-run advantage, 7-3. Here comes the 1-2 to Bierman. A called strike 3 on the outside edge, back-to-back strikeouts looking for the Otters. Ends this 8th inning, 3 up, 3 down. We head to the bottom half of the 8th. Otters still are holding on to a 4-run lead. Parker Brahms returns to the mound for the Otters to start the 8th inning. And because he did complete that 7th, it's 3 straight starts for him that he's gone at least 7 innings in. Not only has he solidified himself as the top man of this Otters starting rotation, he's going to start putting himself on notice. The Otters do have Augie Gallardo warming up out there in left just in case he's needed. First pitch is a called strike to Andrew Pinner, who is 1 for 3 on the day with a double back in the first inning. One that just missed being a homer by, I don't know, 7, 8 inches. An 0-1 is sent towards Phillips at third. Hefty throw to first is in time. Strong arm from the third baseman, Dakota Phillips. That's one of the ways that, or one of the areas it helps to have a catcher playing third base. You know he's got that arm. And you know he's got the accuracy as well. 1 down to start the 8th. It'll bring Isaac Bernard to the plate. Just an update on where Brahms is. He's only at 93 pitches. First pitch, called strike 1 to Bernard. Bernard's 0 for 3 on the game. 2 hard hits, fly balls to right center field. Both were caught, however. Then he grounded out to the third baseman Phillips in the 6th on a weird play. He thought it was foul. It wasn't foul, and there was a lot of confusion. Nevertheless, it's an 0-1 count. Make it 0-2 as a strike's called on the outside edge. I would say on both sides of the ball now, this zone has expanded in the last inning. 0-2 the count to Isaac Bernard. Sent home and sent down the left field line. Down for a base hit. Bounces into the wall. Baez picks it up, and it's a stand-up double for Isaac Bernard. So that will now bring up the left fielder, Jay Prather. Prather's 0 for 2, a sac fly RBI in the first, and then a couple of ground outs since. Of course, there's no double play in order with the double. The Otters seem to be very content letting Parker Brahms control his own fate in this game. And stepping off was Parker Brahms. Now he's ready to go. First pitch. Sent foul to the left side by Prather. It'll end up on the upper concourse over there. but it's just a really long sideways strike one. 0-1 the count to Jay Prather. Parker Brahms trying to keep himself calm and collected up there to keep going in this game. An 0-1. Swinging strike on a pitch that rode high and inside. Sure Prather would like to have that one back. That was one that Prather kind of decided I think he wanted to swing at right out of the hands. Then it worked way up inside on him. He was diving out of the way and swinging the bat at the same time. So 0-2 is the count towards Jay Prather. Brahms will step off again. Seems to be a bit worried about the runner. Isaac Bernard out at second. Brahms ready on the 0-2. Fires home. Lifted foul again to the left side, out of play. The defense is set up straight up all the way around. Kind of a strange game this evening. We're only at 2.5 hours through, but it does feel like this game has gone on for 3.5 or 3:45 already. Slow moving. And Brahms is going to step off and reset signs with his catcher, Justin Felix. And you could really tell that Brahms was worried about things on the mound. Maybe he was worried about second baseman looking in at signs, so he wanted to change them again. Maybe he was worried about just not liking the calls he was seeing. So, it's always good to reset. You just need one strike to end this at bat. Brahms has himself set up there. Looking in on the 0-2. Pitch on the way outside. Felix goes falling out after it and keeps it in front of him. One-two count to Jay Prather. Long waits. Now Brahms sends home the 1-2. Sent foul to the left side. One-two count. Jay Prather is trying to be as ornery as possible in the box. Stay defensive. One ball, two strikes to Jay Prather. Pitch is on the way. Sent on the ground towards Bierman at first. He'll toss to Brahms, who will step on first himself for out number 2. 3-1 officially, and it moves Bernard to third. And it looks like that could be it. As working his way out there is Max Peterson. And now he makes a pitching change. So we will see Augie Gallardo come into this game. More about him right after this absolute gem thrown by Parker Brahms once again. His whole infield thanks him, and he thanks his infield as he leaves the field. We'll be right back with the new pitcher after this. Augie Gallardo hops into the game for the Otters. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Gallardo on the mound, Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. Trevor Achenbaugh making his way to the plate. He's got a runner on third, 2 outs. Gallardo just needs to grab this 1 out. Keep an eye on Gallardo's breaking balls. They move a lot. First pitch goes way outside. His slider topped out at 3,500 rotations per minute last week. He hasn't given up a hit since the final game against Florence. The 1-0 works outside again, counts at 2-0. Gallardo is pitching from the very front edge of that rubber, ready to go on the 2-0. Pitch is on the way. Misses yet again on the outside edge, and it's a 3-0 count for Achenbaugh. Not the part of the lineup you want to be gambling with. The 3-0 stays low. It's a 4-pitch walk as soon as Gallardo comes into this game. That'll bring up the first baseman, Clint Freeman. 1 for 3. His last at bat was one of the biggest home runs we've seen this year. There's now runners on the corners for the Grizzlies. Gallardo's trying to get himself out of this 8th or help get Brahms out of this 8th. First pitch home. Called strike on the outside edge. Pretty good lead for Achenbaugh over there at first. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try to snag second. The 0-1 sent high and foul to the left side. It'll get out of play and up towards the concourse. So it's long foul ball, and everyone returns to their assigned locations. 0-2 is the count to Clint Freeman. Gallardo says no to a couple pitches, now fires home on the 0-2. Called strike 3. That'll do it for the inning. We head to the 9th inning. Otters lead by 4 here from Sauget. And we head to the top of the ninth inning. Jared Milch will return to the mound for the Grizzlies. He'll face the 3-4-5 hitters of Miles Gordon, Steven Sinsley, and Dakota Phillips. Otters currently lead 7-3. Final warm-up pitch has been tossed, and the Otters center fielder Miles Gordon, celebrating Canada Day today, heads to the plate now. 1 for 4 after getting a single back in the 7th. The first pitch towards Miles Gordon on the way. Called strike 1 on the high outside corner. The 0-1 zoomed into right field, down for a base hit for Miles Gordon. His second hit of the game. And for Miles Gordon, that marks his 12th multi-hit game of the season. It now brings up Steven Sinsley. Sinsley's 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts, was hit by a pitch in the second, came around to score on Justin Felix's 3-run home run. First pitch to Sinsley. Called strike 1 right down Main Street. Honestly surprised the Otters have only found a way to hit 1 home run so far in this game. A team with as much power as them. The 0-1 to Sinsley. Outside. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. Wouldn't be surprised to see Gordon hint at a stolen base here. The 1-1. Sent towards the shortstop Diaz. He'll go to second for 1. To first. Not quite in time. Oh, they say it is. With the way some of the calls have gone at first, I expected that one to be safe. It's a double play. Quickly, 2 outs now as Dakota Phillips heads to the plate. It's a 6-4-3 GI double play. And that means that Dakota Phillips has no one on base, 2 outs in front of him. Phillips taking his time to make his way to that left-handed batter's box. Little lefty-lefty matchup here between Milch and Phillips. Phillips kicks and delivers. First pitch is a called strike. Broke into the zone at the last second, that back door. The 0-1. Way inside, nearly catches Phillips in the shoulder. One ball, one strike. Defense playing straight up outside of the center fielder, who's just a bit glanced towards the right side. And Phillips goes opposite field towards the left fielder, and it's Prather who brings it in for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Otters lead by 4, looking to close this one out and pick up their 4th consecutive win. The end of this one coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network. To the bottom of the ninth we go. Augie Gallardo returns to the mound for the Otters, looking to close this one out and give the Otters their 4th consecutive win. It'll be Trejo, Diaz, and Pritchard that will face Grizzlies here in the bottom of the ninth. Time had to be called as Miles Gordon had to go after a ball that was out there in center field from the kids on the berm. Now ready for the first pitch to Cesar Trejo. First pitch towards him, sent foul into the netting to the right side. Quickly down 0-1. Don't forget, Otters and Grizzlies face 3 more times this weekend, 6:45 each night here on the Otters Digital Network. I'll join you for all 3 games. The 0-1 to Trejo, called strike. Breaking pitch just fell in at the last second. And before the Otters, I guess after they finish the 4-game set, they head home for 6 games at home. On a swinging strike 3, sits down Cesar Trejo. His 3rd strikeout of the game. Yeah, it'll be a 6-game homestand for the Otters. Only their 3rd one of the season. It's been a long time since the Otters have been home for a good amount of time. Tons of good promotions coming at you. I could list them all out for you, or you can go to evansvilleotters.com/promotions. See everything on there. Looks like it should be a fun week of baseball, at least 2 nights with fireworks as well. First pitch to Abdiel Diaz is sent back into the netting behind home plate for strike 1. If you missed Taco Tuesday earlier this week, the Otters debuted a new Supreme Taco. If you haven't tried it yet, you've got to. You can do it Tuesday night as the Otters welcome Schaumburg to town. Late to the swing was Diaz. He falls back 0-2 in the count. Wednesday is a Senior Connection Wednesday at the ballpark. Come celebrate our Director of Communication, Preston Leinenbach's birthday on Wednesday night. The 0-2 pitch to Diaz. Oh boy, slider just missed low from Gallardo. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Diaz waiting on the next pitch. The 1-2, that one does curve into the zone at the last second for a called strike 3. Back to back to back. German American Bank strikeouts for Augie Gallardo. And just like that, the Grizzlies are down to their last out. Jackson Pritchard heads to the plate. He is 1 for 2 with a strikeout, a walk, and a solo home run in the 5th inning. He heads to the plate with a wide open stance and then really closes it up at the last second. First pitch to Pritchard. Stays a bit low with the slider. Still a little bit of a breeze blowing out towards right center field, as it has most of the evening. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch on the way home. Called strike 2, another breaking ball there. So that's the difference between Gallardo and a lot of relief pitchers in this league. Gallardo knows maybe not the speed is what gets guys. He's really confident in the movement in his slider, and he throws that a ton. The 1-1. Called strike 2 on the inside edge. The Grizzlies are down to the last strike. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitch on the way to Pritchard. Swinging strike 3 ends up in the glove of Felix. 4 straight German American Bank strikeouts in the game for Gallardo. And the Otters have won their 4th straight game. We'll keep it right here for postgame. This is a game that, Evansville fell behind early in, and then just one by one started to work their way back into it. Every time that their pitcher, Parker Brahms, allowed a run, right back at you, said the Otters, and they put up multiple runs just to help out Brahms and the defense a little bit more. In the first inning, Gateway scored on a sac fly RBI. Right back at you, said the Otters in the second, as 3 scored on a Justin Felix 3-run home run. Then The Grizzlies made it a one-run game with a solo home run from Pritchard in the 5th. Otters said, all right, we'll give you 2 more. And 2 runs scored on back-to-back RBI hits from Felix and Armstrong. Then the very next inning, the Otters added 2 more runs, these on a 2-run single from Dakota Phillips. Gateway managed 1 more run, but that was all that they could grab as the Otters went on to win 7-3 in the game, out-hitting the Grizzlies 11-6. And they had 1 more error, 1-0 in that category. A great win to pick up to start this 4-game road trip. Let's run through the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard one final time. New York beat Ottawa 9-8 in that earlier game. In Game 2 of their doubleheader, Ottawa's leading 6-4 in the 5th. Empire State falls at Tri-City 8-3. Trois-Rivières wins 7-4 at Quebec in the battle for Quebec. New Jersey ends up with a huge win at Sussex County in the battle for New Jersey, 12-3. Schaumburg defeats Florence 2-1. And Joliet defeats Windy City 6-2. Washington Lake Erie was postponed this evening. Glad you could join us for another edition of Otters Baseball. Evansville is able to get the win, get that winning streak up 1 more to 4 now as they begin the holiday weekend the right way. We've got 3 more games here on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All 3 start at 6:45. I'll join you for them all right here on the Otters Digital Network. It's been fun once again to bring you Otters baseball, and I hope you tune in for the next 3 nights here from Sauget. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, I'm Matthew Will. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Otters Baseball on the Otters Digital Network. I'll talk to you tomorrow as the Grizzlies and the Otters continue their 4-game set. Have a great evening. Talk to you tomorrow.